Normally, we only see cars running on gasoline, diesel or electric engines. But in the most mysterious country in the world, North Korea, trucks running on firewood are very popular. At present, in the world, perhaps only North Korea is using trucks running on firewood. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, also known as North Korea, is a country in East Asia, bordered by China and Russia to the north, and South Korea to the south at the Korean Demilitarized Zone. North Korea borders the Yellow Sea and Korea Bay to the west, and the Sea of Japan to the east. The country has an area of 120,540 square kilometers, with a population of more than 26 million as of 2024. According to researchers at the Vienna University of Economics and Business in Austria, an estimated 60% of North Koreans, or 15 million citizens, were living in absolute poverty in 2020 and were unable to meet their basic needs for food, shelter, drinking water, education and healthcare. Wood-powered vehicles are most common in rural North Korea, but they are also occasionally seen on the wide streets of Pyongyang and other major cities. A large stove, like a boiler, is mounted on the truck bed to convert wood into a biogas mixture to power the vehicle's engine. The image of trucks carrying bulky wood stoves, running sluggishly and emitting thick smoke, may be unfamiliar to foreign tourists lucky enough to visit North Korea, but is very familiar to the people of this country. In the world, the wood-powered car appeared in 1920 in Germany. In 1920, a German engineer named George Imbert invented a wood-powered engine for use in a car. Since then, George Imbert's engine has become popular in life and is increasingly known by many people. Realizing the advantages of this engine, in a short time, thousands of cars were commercially produced. During World War II, when fossil fuels such as coal and oil were scarce and mainly for military use, wood-powered cars became popular and were considered the golden age. In the rear, most people had to switch to using this special type of car. Statistics show that about 1 million wood-powered cars were produced during this period, of which 500,000 were produced in Germany alone. After the war ended, oil production began to stabilize and gasoline prices stabilized. People began to use gasoline-powered cars again, which were more luxurious and cleaner in design. As a result, the number of cars running on firewood also decreased rapidly. Cars running on firewood are now almost non-existent in the world, and are only used in North Korea. In reality, North Korea has no other choice. Due to prolonged economic sanctions and economic hardship, fuel shortages are a daily occurrence. The story of the charcoal truck is a typical example of North Korea's self-sufficiency mechanism. With no domestic oil supply, no opportunity to import fuel from abroad, and a large demand for transportation, especially for the military, North Korea has to resort to a very traditional fuel, charcoal. The biggest advantage of the wood-burning engine is that the fuel source is available in nature, without processing. All you need to do is find a log, saw it into small pieces and put it on the vehicle. The operating mechanism of the charcoal vehicle is explained. Charcoal is mainly CO2. Carbon when burned reacts with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide. But when there is not enough oxygen, it mainly produces carbon monoxide, a very toxic gas. Carbon monoxide, after being passed through water to cool and filter impurities, is put into the combustion chamber, creating a combustion reaction, generating work. Here, carbon monoxide replaces gasoline. Although carbon monoxide burns, it releases a small amount of heat and generates very little work. The gas produced during the combustion process produces only about 1/8 of the power of gasoline. Therefore, the speed of the vehicle is poor. In order for the vehicle to operate, people need to burn wood 10 minutes early to have enough heat. If the vehicle wants to travel long distances, the owner must build many large furnaces behind the vehicle to store the wood fuel. Each of these furnaces weighs about 300 kilograms, so small vehicles will not be suitable. Only large trucks can contain many furnaces like that. The complication is that after every certain distance, depending on the size of the incinerator, the driver must use a shovel to scoop the ash from the combustion chamber and clean the filters. Another disadvantage is that during operation, carbon monoxide gas can leak and endanger the driver and passengers in the car, as well as the dust that sticks to the body. Inhaling large amounts of carbon monoxide gas can cause oxygen deficiency, damage to the nervous system, and damage to the blood. Certainly, people with weak lungs and poor breathing should not use this type of vehicle. Interestingly, while regular motor vehicles can be fined by the police, charcoal-powered vehicles are exempt from complying with normal traffic regulations because many are associated with military units. A funny story involving a firewood truck was when Chinese people spotted one of these trucks driving near the border. The Chinese people thought something was wrong with the truck because it was emitting a lot of smoke and shouted to the driver as he was driving down the road, "North Korean people, the truck is on fire." Besides its specialty of firewood trucks, North Korea's car ownership is also extremely low, making it the country with the lowest car ownership rate in the world. Before 2017, the North Korean government banned private car ownership. Nearly all of the more than 30,000 cars in the country were state-owned. With a population of more than 26 million in 2024, North Korea has a car ownership rate of less than 1%. Highways, even in the capital Pyongyang, are empty of vehicles, and traffic jams are almost never seen. Since 2017, North Korea has allowed individuals to buy cars, and North Koreans can own cars as personal vehicles. However, registering and buying a car here is still very difficult due to the complicated procedures for personal identification and purchase. To be able to register, these vehicles must be of two types. The first type is trucks and buses owned by state organizations or companies for transportation purposes. The second type is a vehicle owned by an individual, but the individual registers it through a transportation company. This is the way people used to own a car. Others ask someone with foreign nationality or do some work related to a foreign organization to make it easier to buy a car. After registration, users still have to pay many types of money such as name usage fees for businesses, or circulation fees to be able to move the car normally. Another reason why owning a car remains a dream for most North Koreans is their low income. According to a 2018 World Bank report, the Northeast Asian country's GDP per capita has remained virtually unchanged for nearly 10 years, at between $1,500 and $1,800 a year. In addition, the inability to buy fuel freely and having to buy limited quantities also makes owning a car in North Korea more difficult. Each civilian car is only allowed to buy 15 kilograms of fuel per month, equivalent to about 21 liters. To this day, North Korea remains under embargo, so many companies are not allowed to sell cars in the country. Because they cannot sell directly, cars entering North Korea often have to go through third-party companies, that is, buy them from a few foreign dealers before returning home. The routes of the cars can vary and will be transported to North Korea in a country that does not have an embargo on the country. For example, a car will first be ordered through an intermediary, shipped from the place of manufacture to China, then transferred to Japan. From there the car will be transferred to South Korea, then to Russia, and finally to North Korea. Regarding car lines in North Korea, officials of this country are very fond of Mercedes-Benz cars. As for Mr. Kim Jong-un, the highest leader of North Korea, he is said to own an Audi R8, a Rolls-Royce, a Range Rover and many other models. Notably, in June 2024, during his visit to North Korea, Russian President Putin presented North Korean President Kim Jong-un with a Russian-made Urus car. Russia has successfully developed many different versions of the Urus car, including a supercar version specifically for serving President Putin. In the 1970s, North Korea bought 1,000 Volvo 144s from neutral Sweden. These cars still serve as taxis today. In a series of photos taken by an international reporter when visiting North Korea, one can also see Romanian Dacia 1310s, old Volkswagens, cars of Chinese origin, BYD or FAW, or even Gaz 69s or trucks donated by the Soviet Union in the last century.